They think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Bodywork.
Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, I hope everybody's having a great, wonderful Monday, man. We had a great weekend of boxing. We had to let the beat build a little bit. We had to let things breathe, and we had to put our ears to the streets. And now it's time to talk to our peeps, man. Man, I'm just glad, man. Say it with me, man. Repeat after me. I am free. I'm a free moral agent. Say it again. I am free. I'm a free moral agent, man. Like, man, it's wild how, for lack of a better term, how enslaved we are, man, to the thoughts and opinions of others, man. If you just keep it all the way funky, all the way 10 times 10, you can't go wrong. Why? Because the next day, all you got to do is keep it all the way funky, all the way 10 times 10. You know, and everybody's not always going to agree with you. I think people have an issue when somebody don't really agree with them, which is like baffling to me. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into the show, man. I got perhaps the best co-host on the planet, AC in the building. How you feeling, AC?
Man, I'm feeling great today, man. It was a good weekend of boxing. It seems as though right now we're spoiled. 2 good weekends back to back of good solid boxing. Some things to talk about. Some minor controversy, if you want to call it that, but overall, just the look of where the sport is going and. Look who's really, really rising as the true cream of the crop. Then, you know, I'm excited for the sport, and I'm excited to get into today's show.
That's what's up. I appreciate you for being here, man. Always locking in with me, man, and keeping me honest and keeping me balanced, giving me pushback when necessary, and you know, just giving me things to bounce off of, man. So I appreciate you. But I'm going to get into the housekeeping. Salute the Quee, Sunshine Quee. I appreciate you. Salute the A Solston in the building, always supporting. Even if he ain't at the live, he give a lot of feedback, and I see him supporting a lot of people, man. Like YouTube need people like A Solston, man. He's a stand-up dude. I see him, man. No matter where I go, he speaks his mind. He got a sense of humor. He's logical, but I like the fact that, see, I gravitate in really real people gravitate towards me, and I gravitate towards really real people. Like, even if I don't always agree with everything you say, I just like the realness of it. Like, I just like people who are them. I don't know, man. I could agree with 50% of the shit you say, but if that's you and that's your truth and you just gonna keep it, I fuck with you. And those are the kind of people I fuck with. Ace Austin, he real, man. And salute the Cookie Monster. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding crystal clear. That's what I like to hear. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into this. Newsflash. This is a newsflash, man. Like, YouTube community channels, man, like especially in the boxing community, man, they're just narrative factories. So whatever narrative, whatever narrative it is that needs to be pushed, or they feel like, needs to get pushed, or, they can get the most camaraderie with, is what's going to go down, or whatever elements of it they want to push to be able to move forward an agenda, then that's really what it is, man. I've heard so many narratives, man. Like the Ring Magazine, their little thing that they got going on with YouTube right now, they're perhaps the most villainous. They're the most villainous. Like, I actually heard these words come out of Max Kellerman's mouth with him, and he actually had Gabe Rosado. Now, I like Gabe Rosado. He's a realist, and I like what he said. He's real. He stayed real, even on that little show that I watched, the little segment I watched earlier. He stayed real in his opinion, and I appreciated him because he was a boxer a lot. He didn't get a lot of credit, but he was one of them guys that he went towards all of the smoke. Like, a lot of people knock him for the losses and all that, but he was never scared to challenge himself. Had he had better management, he might have could have done a little bit better. But like, as far as having a set of cojones, that was Gabe. But it was him, Mike Cap, dumbass Shady McCoy. I love him when it comes to football. It's one of my favorite running backs as an Eagles fan, with it tatted on my shoulder. Love Shady like a play cousin when it comes to football. When it comes to boxing, I can't stand his guts. You know what I'm saying? But I heard these words come out of Max Kellerman's mouth, and this was the questions. These were the questions, This was the big question he posed to AC. He said, yeah, we know Abdullah this and that, but can he box? I was looking, I did a double check on my screen. I said, hold on. Then he said it again. He's like, yeah, we know this and that about Abdullah, but can he box? But can he box, though? I'm like, and this is like, I mean, and I hate that this goes on, right? But there's definitely an agenda, man. And it seems like every week after somebody fight, there's always a group of people or several groups of different people out here. They either want to be pro or con. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very rare that you get a real assessment, a very thorough, analytical, you know what I'm saying, like even killed assessment of these guys. It's either right away they start slanting or painting it, like the another one, like the Haney voice. Man, I jumped on there for like, I don't even know if I was on there for 15 minutes. And I jumped on there and my first comment was, I know I came in late today, but what are we talking about? Like, they was sitting up there trying to match this guy with Tevin Farmer. Ness was breaking all his rules. Like, first of all, he don't like nobody coming off of a loss, getting a title shot, let alone coming off a knockout loss, let alone somebody long in the tooth like Tevin Farmer. Like, what the fuck would that do for Abdullah? Like, I started hearing all of the conversations. And really what it was because the young man basically set his peers on notice and put everybody around him on notice. So he got a lot of different fan bases. If you're not a pure boxing fan, he got a lot of fan bases on the edge. He got them feeling real jittery. He got them feeling real nervous. Why? Because in so many things, and that's in the meat and potatoes. That's part of the precursor. But in the meat and potatoes, I'm going to show y'all all of the barriers and all of the stigmas and everything that Abdullah Mason just broke. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of these different entities, these different fan bases all fucked up. But like instantly, they're painting this narrative now to where they want to either knock him down off his high horse. They asking dumbass questions like, can he box? They're trying to matchmake him with like people they wouldn't dare set their fighter like in a fight that would be as dangerous or as challenging, coming off of a challenge like that, knowing that he just got it, they wouldn't dare do their guy like that, but they're doing him like that. And I was sitting around, I had to look, I said, damn, there's 600 people sitting around in here listening to this dumb shit. That means you're going to have 600 zombies walking around out here. And I was like, man, that's what YouTube has been now. That's what it's become now. Basically, like, it's all these little factions and it's all these little narratives that everybody just want to push. And hopefully, you know, if you come across their radar and you're on their good side, the narratives will be in your favor. But I've even seen people who, for the most part, I agree with when it comes to certain boxers, even they do it. You know what I'm saying? Some people might say, I create narratives. I try to not create narratives because I try to give the facts to back up the things that I'm actually saying. Right? I don't just create a story and paint this picture. It's like, no, I have data. I have things that support where I've been going. I have lives where I've been saying it in real time 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 6 months ago. I did that when I did the top 5 toxic fan bases. It's 2 years. It's almost 3 years ago now. When I did the top 5 toxic fan bases and the DHP fan base was number 1. Did I have to change that order like I would have to do my pound for pound? No, I wouldn't. But I try not to because I swear I have this thing to where I do not want to look and appear like everybody else. Like, I don't want anybody to be to point a finger and be like, oh, yeah, you do this and you not. No, I don't. Why? Because that's what keeps me honest and balanced, because the fact that I won't do that. And if I'm in amongst of a bunch of people and they all saying one thing and I don't agree, I'm not going to try to throw no ripples. I'll state my opinion and I'll move on. But I don't sit around and just manufacture narratives like most of these boxing channels out here today. And it's very sad because it's like some people, when I say he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age, that is, if you can't see it right now, then I don't know what you're watching. I don't know what you're listening to. You might be off in La La Land. You know what I'm saying? Or let's be honest, you might just be a casual. And it's cool because boxing, right, today's climate of boxing will turn you into a casual. It's very hard and very stressful to be a hardcore boxing fan right now. Especially if you don't have your eyes and your mind set on just enjoying what the sport is giving us and just speaking to the landscape like a journalist, how they supposed, like, just like the weather. If somebody say, hey, how is it outside? You ain't gonna go outside and say, oh man, I saw a tornado and then I saw a hurricane. It's like, no, you're gonna say, oh, it was cloudy today, it was pretty humid. You know what I'm saying? It rained a little bit in the morning. Factual things, but you're stating the climate. That's all we gotta do is apply that same logic to what's actually going on in boxing. But we can't do that. That's number 1. Number 2, Derrick James provides closure. Salute to Knockout. Knockout in the building. Salute Knockout. Let's see. He said, it's crazy. These dudes are sellouts. Can't even be honest down the line. No integrity. Their biases and agendas are shown each and every day. 100. It's pathetic. I mute all of them when I'm watching the fights. Especially in that category. Let me get into this other one. Let me get into number 2, and then I'm going to address that because I got something else for that too. Hey, Sosa, I got something else for that too. Okay. Derrick James provides closure. And this was a scab that was this scab was picked open like about 2 weeks ago. Maybe a little over 2 weeks ago now. Time be flying. So, you know, in boxing time, it'd be fine, man, as far as these interviews and things. Probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe, right? Errol Spence came out and did an interview. He basically, you know, cleared the air and gave his truth, right? A lot of people had automatically just sided with, you know, Earl against Derrick. For me, just to reiterate it, and this may be one of the last times I actually talk about this, because I really don't like the look on either side. I just be like, man, all it's going to do is just tear down and give people just a little inch to jump in there to say some shit about the whole situation, to smear and smudge it all. So I didn't like it from the jump. I didn't like the fact. I thought that, man, y'all should just keep that stuff private, man. But Derrick James came out today on Brian Custer because Earl Spence did an interview with Andre Ward. And Andre, he said a lot of people ablaze with that interview. Salute Honeybee. Said a lot of people ablaze with that interview that he did because basically it opened up a lot of wounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us had dealt with a lot of those things in real time. We were upset in real time about it. You know what I'm saying? We was able to heal from it in real time. You know, Earl left us on red for a minute. He went and got himself together, which I'm proud of. Said he put down a bottle, became a family man. You know, got more in touch with his spirituality. You know, he don't go out like that. You know, he's more involved with his children. Just beautiful, wonderful story. And if that's what it takes for you to do it, then hey, it was a necessary evil, I suppose, right? But a lot of people was going off or whatever, and I was like, man, look, let's calm down, let's relax, y'all. How are we gonna come out here and be mad now because this shit happened 3 years ago? He just now coming out and confirming what a lot of people did breaking news on in real time and what a lot of people were reporting on in real time. So he told his truth. A lot of people took that time to actually start slandering Derrick James. And Derrick James finally came out and did the interview with Brian Custer. What I didn't really like is that and it wasn't as long. Granted, it wasn't as long. So we're going to do apples to apples. Earl's was like an hour and 33 minutes, I believe. And this one with Derrick James was like maybe 35 minutes, maybe, I think. So proportionally, it wasn't as long. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a little bit longer than that. But it wasn't as long. But what I felt like is that him and the Earl thing, it overshadowed most of the whole interview. And I know that's the juicy part. That's the part that everybody really wanted to hear about and wanted to know about. You know what I'm saying? But like to me, it kind of overshadowed the entire thing. It was all about him and the Earl Spence situation. And I'm like, that was one thing that I did not like. But I did like the fact that Derrick James came with proof and facts, and he gave his side. And you could tell Derrick James is mature. You know what I'm saying? He's a mature man, and he's comfortable in his own skin and doing what he do. Right? I didn't pick a side when it came down to him and Earl. I'm like, for one, that's like really y'all business. I don't pocket watch and all that so nobody won't just pee on my head and tell me it's raining. I want to know what's going on in certain situations. So if a conversation come up, I could be knowledgeable about it. But when it come down to pocket watching and people's other business ordeals and all that, I degaff. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to be successful. I don't want to tarnish the legacy that they built together. But for me, what it did was it pretty much confirmed something I was saying in real time. Because remember, I told y'all there's these channels, right? They got these political agendas and they push these narratives. And it was one that I was real surprised that he was really pushing this agenda on this in real time. And I'm like, hold on, man, like you sound and look real two-faced right now with this stance you're taking. And you're like pretty much commanding. You're running point for the people with the knives and the pitchforks for Derrick James. Like you're coming at him, but I'm like, hold on, man. We don't even know everything that it entails. We haven't even heard all the sides. So for me, I was like, man, and I always say, man, along with influence comes responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So I think the more people that you have watching you, the more people that follow you and cater to what you say and listen, I think that comes along with more responsibility. Now, what you do with it, it's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to date myself, but it's my prerogative. That's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? But there are people that's going to be looking and saying, man, I don't know about that. So the meat and potatoes to this situation with the Derrick James, there was a lot of criticism saying that Derrick James didn't have this man sparring. Well, the truth come out that he had broke his ribs. You know what I'm saying? Like the second week, at the end of the second week, and he really didn't say nothing. But that's the reason why he didn't spar all of that time. Now, everybody knew about it, right? This was so funny. There was a lot of breaking news looking asses that was out here that broke the news about him having a broken rib, right? And they were saying Earl ain't right, Earl ain't this, Earl ain't that. Like true Earl Spence fans saw him before he got in the ring, but like, man, something ain't right with my dog. He don't look right. Nobody knew there was some rumors about him being dehydrated and trying to run up a mountain and was dehydrated. Some people were reporting that he had a broken rib. You know, it was all kind of things. Everybody already knew that he had been in the weight class for too long, you know, and it got extended out, and he was just at the mercy of the op making that fight. So Derrick James come out and confirmed that, yeah, he had a broken rib. Well, he had an injury. He was being professional. He said he had an injury, you know what I'm saying, and that that's why they really didn't spar. And the reason, and the fact that he didn't have anybody that was a southpaw, but he said it was two switch hitters that was in there with him. And he said it came down to a point to where they didn't spar because his father said that y'all wasn't going to spar. There'll be no sparring. He was like, well, we could have a sparring where they, you know, we'll tell him not to really go to the body, but they didn't want word to get out or whatever that was going to go on or whatever. Because a lot of people would jump on him saying, hold on, man, whose fault is it? Is it Derrick James' fault or is it Earl Spence's fault that he didn't have nobody coming at him from a southpaw stance, you know, giving him the looks? And Derrick James said, I was the one that was doing it because we couldn't have nobody sparring. I was doing 14 rounds with him every day, you know what I'm saying, giving him the looks that he need. And to me, where I look at it and I say, you know what, this is common sense. Instead of everybody cinching down once again saying, okay, the man didn't spar and he had an injury, just reconfirming that, everybody is still looking to place blame. Whose fault is it? You know what I'm saying? Whose fault really, in essence, whose fault really is it? Derrick James said, man, they could have pushed that fight back. A lot of people say, man, if you would have pushed that fight back, we would have never got that fight. And we know how stubborn Terrence Bud Crawford is. We know how stubborn, if you've been following, you've been a fan of either one of these guys, we definitely know how stubborn Earl Spence is. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it wasn't something that I walked away with saying, I told you, or there was some disingenuousness. You know what I'm saying? It was some disingenuousness there, you know, on one party's part. You know, once we heard the other side, there was some disingenuousness. And like I was saying in real time, I was like, man, a lot of people are trying to like shovel shit all over Derrick when he stated facts. He was like, look, Frank Martin, he won his fight. Jermell Charlo, he won his fight. And that's what I was saying. I was like, people try to take the results of a fight, which happened with that Earl Spence fight. They try to take the results of the fight and then negate everything before that. Like, whether it was good or bad, you can't take the results of that fight and then negate all the success. Think about it. From welterweight, from the welterweight, salute, Isaiah. Aaron Jones, salute. From the welterweight, I got you, Aaron. From the welterweight division to the junior middleweight division, Derrick James had one undisputed and 3 straps in the division below. So you out there for a period of time, these cats, he had 2 fighters with 7 straps, bro. Like, all that shit about Derrick ain't this, Derrick ain't that. I don't be hearing that shit. That shit go in one ear and out the other. I don't even blink. I don't even bat an eye when I hear that dumbass shit. Those are people that's hating, groveling. A lot of people just can't stand the results. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'll give you an example, and I'll move on. Y'all remember when Caleb Plant slapped Maul Charlo? If you remember when Caleb Plant slapped Maul Charlo, right? A lot of people like, oh, you got to do something. I was like, yeah, that was pretty gangster of Caleb Plant doing it. But like when you're dealing with somebody that got mental health, how gangster is that? no matter how bad I wanted Jamal to just like really, I wanted Jamal to like throw his ass over a bridge. I ain't gonna lie. Like I wanted him to like beat the shit out of Caleb Plant after that. No matter how bad I don't like the results, I don't like the look. I don't like people being able to brag and say, "Oh yeah, man, Caleb Plant slapped the shit out of them all." No matter how much I hate the like seeing that, no matter how much I hate the results of that, we can't do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about Earl getting done like that by Bud. We can't do nothing about this man getting in the ring in the condition that he was. We can't do nothing about it. Let's just move on. The money situation got clarified. Derrick James came with legal notes. And there's still people out here pushing this crazy ass agenda. I'm like, if this was in the court, if they use this in the court of law, you know what I'm saying, this is what he got, you know what I'm saying, it is. It looked like, hey, listen, he said, man, things could probably be resolved. He's like, they don't wish each other no harm, no foul no more, you know what I'm saying? And like sometimes we gotta, just like sometimes in relationships, something that's more practical that we talk about in our everyday life. Sometimes shit just run its course. Sometimes it's just time. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all just been in some shit where it's like you didn't do what you needed to do to rejuvenate it. You didn't rekindle it. You didn't get the juices flowing. Y'all didn't become friends. Like it was obvious when it was said that one party was saying, "Oh man, well I didn't have it didn't feel like a father-son." I'm like, first of all, why would it feel like a father-son relationship when you got a father? Like it's just the dumbest shit. But since we want to dig off into that. But it wasn't all one-sided. Derrick is about business. If you're dealing with all them kind of egos and these athletes, we already know. Like, think about what, because a lot of people like to use these examples, right? But if you go back to the Deontay Wilder situation, right? In the Mark Breland situation, it'll be time when JD's will come in and be like, hey, he's having a bad day. Don't make him run. Can you blame James? Can you blame Mark Breland for that? And they said something about Mark Breland is missing, man. Let's put some positive energy that this man is found. I don't know what's going on. I seen something last week. Speaking of Mark Breland, which I think he got done wrong. Put some positive energy out there for Mark Breland, man. I seen something where his family was saying they hadn't heard from him. Nobody talked or seen. I'm like, man, that's wild. Perhaps one of our best amateurs historically ever is gone. A prolific coach who got Deontay Wilder all the way up to 42-0. But think about that, y'all. Like I know how it is. I know how it is having a teenage son. It's hard to get this man. It's hard for me to get certain things and like how I am and how I raised. It's hard without me like being like aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Or like really. Sometimes like especially at that situation, you're dealing with millionaires. That's like. They on top of the world. They lions. You know what I'm saying? They make all this money. They got all this fame. Like everybody it's like you ain't, if they are that's when submissiveness come into. If you are submissive to your coach, like you see how Abdullah listened to his father, which was also his trainer. If you are submissive in an aspect and you listen to the tutelage, it'll benefit both of y'all. But if you're not, if you're picking and choosing what you want to do, imagine being the coach of a Jamel Charlo and you trying to tell this man, hey man, this is what we gonna do. And he like, nah, I got Juan Guzman and this is what we gonna do. And that's my guy. Tank, Earl Spence, and Mel, my top 3 favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? They inactive, but like that's what it was. That's my guy, and I know how he is. So it's like I'm not buying it. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not buying the sob story of Earl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing all these darts and saying that Derrick James had the most bubbly, shittery personality and all that. He's about business. Like I ran into people like that. I think when it comes down, like for me in my business, like what I do, I'm a lot like Derrick James. I don't know if it was how my mother raised me. I don't know if it's like the military experience. Like in a lot of ways, when it comes down to business, I'm just like that. Like I don't like all that playing around shit. Like we could be friends, we could do whatever. Like if we like water cooler talk, yeah. But like when it comes down to business, I'm just like that. Could be very anal about business, but because it's business. It's your livelihood. So I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna be all right. I'm glad to hear his side, man. And when these dummies come out here and they push these narratives, you know what I'm saying, about Derek and what's going on, man. Like let's just let it go. Derek's gonna have more success. He ain't hurting no one for nothing. Earl got his life back together and he's getting back in the ring. He got another fight. That shit ran its course. Let it go. Let's move on. It ain't no need to keep picking this scab. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to do anything for us. And then we look like dummies because they got together. They got 3 straps. They unified 3 straps. Holler at me when another welterweight, the next time another welterweight unified 3 straps. Especially in the fashion that Earl did with the level of competition that he did it, while simultaneously, and the coach that can do that while also getting the guy who went by one at 154 and collected all the straps. Holler at me when that happened. Until that, we look and sound like fools talking about this shit and trying to put everything together and trying to point these fingers and do all that. It's over. Bo Mack and Bud kicked the shit out of Earl and Derrick James. They got paid handsomely. They're being successful. Let's move on. Facts, and the vibe's not even good either. Ain't no fixing it when y'all had many chances to get it right. Got Deontay his longest W. Right. Facts, you don't want nobody. Right. So Isaiah with me. That's that. I'm glad that Derek provided closure. I say salute to the man. I'm glad to see him smiling. He talked about his foundation and what he got going on. And what they say, godly proud. That's what I am of him and what he do. You know, a lot of them shows, them killer movies and the shit that be going on with Dallas. That shit that be going on down there in Dallas. I'm like, man, some people are like, it's certain places, man, where certain people are just a different kind of crazy, man. So the youth in certain places, man, we always, you know, I'm in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? For the longest time, this was the heroin capital of the nation. So who am I? But I know certain areas like Baltimore, Cleveland, Dallas. There's some places that really, really need, you know what I'm saying, the youth and need positive figures to pour back in there. Like if we keep being the ones trying to distract and muddy some waters and shit on somebody's legacy, then it's just like, I mean, you're a hater. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it boils down to. Let's just move on from that. Number 3. This is an interesting one, man. This is an interesting one. Let me do something real quick. Numbers and crowds don't lie. Numbers and crowds don't lie. What do you mean, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? Gotti said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, men lie, women lie. Y'all know that song he got? Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. People love to use numbers, right? But in this example, man, like, you know, I had been saying, man, we got a couple upsets that was going to come this year, right? And I was, you know, we posed the question, okay, out of this past weekend's fight, and the weekend before that, Miss Joette, salute, salute, appreciate you. But out of this past weekend and the weekend before that, right, we was always asking, okay, who would be the upset? Well, I ain't gonna even hold y'all. It was an upset this weekend. It was an upset this weekend, right? And a lot of people don't like it. So I'm not gonna say no names, right? I'm not gonna say no names because I like the young fella. I think he got a huge upside. I think that this was more like a wake-up call. But there was an upset this weekend. The business of boxing reared his little ugly little head, and the wrong decision got rendered. I'm gonna say that the wrong decision got rendered. And in this case, guess what? The numbers, what us at home saw, and also what the crowd said, were all of the checks and balances. See, a lot of people will pick and choose when they want to use CompuBox. See, I'll go back and I'll use CompuBox, right, to back up or support an argument I already had for something that I was trying to relay. You know what I'm saying? I go back, I crunch numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a business guy. You know what I'm saying? I love numbers, math. Like, that's my lane. I like it. You know, so I'll use it to support something that I'm trying to get out. Like, that's why I was saying that when I was saying that Oshaki and that Ray Ford fight, that wasn't 50-50. It was based on numbers. It was based on the fact that Oshaki's plus minus over his last 3 fights was like, it's trumping most of your favorite fighters is trumping that. And I already know that he's different. So that he's going to rise to the level of occasion, especially when he's not being a cardiac kid like he was. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the people that like sometimes like to get pinned up against the wall before he really started fighting all hard. I think he learned from that, and then he was dealing with injuries. Nevertheless, it came down to the numbers. So when this judgment was rendered, right, one, you can see it on the boxer's face. Like, if you've been watching this guy on Instagram and you've been watching him jump around, and how confident he was and how he was talking and all this and all that, you could tell from his face. Like, we know when boxers lose. Like Virgil. When Virgil lost the ball truck, we saw Virgil lost the ball truck when he got dropped twice and they rendered that judgment. We know what the judgment was, but we know who really won that fight. We know. We know when we saw Virgil's face in the interview who won, right? So I talked about the numbers. That's one thing. The numbers didn't lie. So in production-wise, the dude beat him. We saw with our own eyes that the dude beat him. And then guess what? When they rendered that judgment, I don't know if anybody heard the crowd. The crowd was booing. So don't argue with me as a guy that I'm looking at it like me. And I'm going to be honest, and this is what keeps me balanced. And this is why I can come out and do the kind of shows that I do all the time, because I don't care how ugly the truth is. If it's too ugly or if it's too egregious, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna be one to just heap it on. There's too many channels that's gonna do that. So I either won't say anything, but y'all know silence is consent is the mantra for the channel. So if it matters to me to say something, I think it matters for the sport, then I'm gonna say something about it. Because all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we gotta say something. But there was an upset. The numbers proved it. What our eyes saw proved it. The fighter's behavior in the interview proved it. And then the crowd proved it. So we could be one of these people that want to get up there and paint narratives and try to whatever, however you want to like put lipstick on that pig all you want. You can put lipstick on the pig all you want. And now I'm glad. Why? I mean, so in one way I am glad. Why? Because I've seen it go to where once somebody in this era, when somebody lose that right? It's like people, they looked at like, oh, especially if you're a tough out or somebody she went, oh, you already got losses. Like, look how they doing Oshaki and them early losses he had. And then the robbery. Like that dumb shit Lamont was talking about as far as like, yeah, I really think he won. And then Brian Custer had to say, Brian Cousins had to say, no, listen, man, we know he really beat Conceição. He's like, well, yeah. But like Lamont was going to try that shit. That's what I be talking about as far as integrity. Like to prove a point, to push a narrative. We can't do that. But there was an upset this week. I think it was good, you know what I'm saying, that they didn't do it, because I think he's going to learn from that. That experience and being in that situation, it's going to make him, it's going to help him grow. You know what I'm saying? You need to stop headhunting, get back to doing the body work, because that's what you're known for. Get back to doing your body work, and everything is going to line up. Be patient, do your body work, and work on your skills. But numbers and crowds don't lie. That's the housekeeping, AC.
Yeah, I guess I'll start off with that. Most definitely, because we basically saw the fight we saw, but again, this is one of those situations to where the business of boxing said, bro, you're coming off of 4 straight losses. There's no way we're gonna give you this. Not taken away from this guy right here. Not tonight. You know, so hopefully, just like we did with Hamza, same thing we did with Shushu. We said, okay, we saw what we saw from you guys, so we gonna see what you do next. And that's the same space I have to put Mr. Scooter in. So that's where I'm just gonna leave that situation right there. But going to number 2, the Derrick James situation. Yeah, we were hearing all of those the people who were like myself who were running in Terrence Crawford circles and many other things like that, being a fan of Terrence and supporting Terrence on the fight against Errol Spence. Yeah, I heard all of it. And I was hearing people say, no, y'all just trying to, they just trying to put that in as, you know, a built-in excuse to take away from Bud's victory and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, bro, but go all the way back to when the car accident happened. They was talking about his, one of his ribs was fucked up back then. So if it didn't happen, it's like one of those things to whereas it's a slow break. All you need is the one traumatic thing to happen, and then the whole shit collapses. So if that's what happened, then it is what it is with me concerning why he didn't spar. I also was a person who was well aware, being a Crawford fan and rooting for Crawford in that situation, that if that fight was pushed back, with all the tribalism, with everything that's going on, I don't think that it would have happened. And I'm a firm believer, and I'm glad to a certain degree that when all the smoke is said and done, what people may want to take away is the dumb shit, but you're forgetting the part that, okay, even with the broken rib, even with 2 weeks out, right? Even with 6 weeks of non-sparring and everything else, even with, you know, me almost suffering heat exhaustion from running in that elevated Las Vegas climate, I still showed up for the fight. I still made weight, and I still fought my fucking ass off. When I compared what I saw with Xander and Bell, Errol never had a defeated look on his face. Even though we're looking at the fight in his mind, because he's not looking at himself, he still felt he had a chance. And he fought like that every second of every minute of that fight after he was dropped and after he was hurt. So all the stuff that's going on and stuff like that, how they're trying to bring these old situations and wounds up with, you know, Errol doing his interview, and then Brian Custer wanting to feed into the bullshit and bringing Derrick James up. Yeah, okay, cool. You want to hear both sides of the story, whatever. Andre Ward, you could have did that. You could have did that. And this is a boxer talking to a trainer. So this way you would kind of understand a little bit more, because you know that relationship between boxer and trainer. But you didn't. You didn't. You could have scheduled those interviews to be somewhat back to back. Yeah, this was Errol's side of the story. This was listening. Then I gave my take after interviewing both of them, and, you know, let it be a done deal. But to keep doing this shit while Errol Spence has a fight, it's kind of weird to me. We're looking to see when Errol Spence comes back, and we want to see, is he still viable in the boxing thing? And y'all bringing up all of this dumb shit that does not fucking matter.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just like I'm just like kind of disgusted with the media, and if things are gonna be narrative driven, I'm trying to figure out what's the narrative you're trying to create with the hit job going on Errol Spence, and it's just like I am not getting it. It's not working for me. Um, Derek James, you tell your truth. You see things the way you see them. Things are supposed to be the way you're. You see things the way you see them as the trainer, and from that perspective, you only could do what you do. Like me being a chef, I'm gonna give you my best advice if you hire me as a consultant. But if you are not gonna do the shit that I bust my ass and stayed up all night to come up with these business plans and recipes, and your cooks are gonna say, "Well, it's too hard for me to cook," then you don't give a shit about your business overall. And I'm not gonna be the one to fight with you over it. You made that investment. You put your credit on the line. And if you needed outside help to help you fix that, then it might be fucking smart to say if the person is absolutely correct, then that's what I should fucking do. And if you're one of my cooks, or you're a cook and you're like, well, uh, I can't do it because X, Y, and Z, then I'm gonna bring the consultant back and say, can you cook that? Show you how easy I can cook it, and then I'm gonna tell you, now you need to fire this motherfucker. Because some people just don't like change, no matter how simple or bad or hard it is. Sometimes you have to go through change to find the better you. Some dudes get fucked up, you know what I'm saying, because your girlfriend cheated on you, but then 2 years later you're married. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, I didn't marry the girl who cheated on me. I married somebody else. But that just shows that that situation didn't work. And there was a better situation out there for me. Sometimes it's best to be the silver lining type of person. Don't get fucked up by the loss. Look at the positives. Well, this is the way I was feeling. This what was going on. And I had these reservations of what's going on. Then you move on. Derek James told this side, cool, fine. All right. Errol Spence told this side, cool, fine. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, there's three sides of the story: his, hers, or his, and then the truth. And if you're listening to both, somewhere in between what they're both saying is the truth. Now, what they're both saying is that's the truth is maybe they need an arbiter to come in and they can settle the differences. Or maybe just talking about it in the public is the thing to settle the differences. Floyd got real personal with his pops, and then they made up. That's just the way shit goes. Moving on to the narrative stuff. Yeah, the narrative stuff is just crazy. You know, I just don't get it. I'm a person that's like, okay, boxing is a sport of uncertainties and unknown, and anything can happen at any given moment. You know, so to try to create a narrative, you're trying to control the outcome of the situation. And whether the guy that you the narrative against or for wins or lose, you can then fold the narrative into a hindsight type narrative. People are, you know, talking about things and they still won't let it go. Well, what happened with Xander? He lost. That's what happened with Xander. It's just that simple. Somebody was going to lose that fight. It's just that simple. One guy was going to win, one guy was going to lose. Very rarely in that type of situation between all the different talking points and stuff like that, was a draw was actually on the table. A draw might have been the biggest upset. Oh, how did he pull a draw? Look at that. Tank versus Lamont Roach pulls a draw, and somehow or another that draw turned into an upset against Tank. Lamont Roach upsetted Tank. But at the end of the day, we still saw the fight we saw. And if you're an honest fan, you can say, well, he etched that out. If you take the points away and the knee and stuff like that, he etched that out. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, let's move on. Fighters win, fighters lose. When you're always putting yourself on the line to do great things and really chase greatness, there's always the possibility you can lose. So that's just it for me. And I'm not rocking with the narratives anymore. And at times I found myself pulling up to certain people's joints that are trying to talk about narratives, and I'm just like, well, here's the deal, blah, 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 and I'm about to piss you the fuck off.
But let me touch on two things you said. With the Derrick James thing, I think sometimes, man, we kind of got to look at the bigger picture. We already know that there's a war going on, right? And he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age, meaning that the media, they got people in certain positions, like controlling narratives. Like they got them calling fights in a manner. That's why I say, man, they got to do something. I don't know why Top Rank is letting them do this. Like when they came up with that deal, when Top Rank came up with that deal, and it was and they went over there to the zone. They should have had to mix it up with these commentators.
Yeah.
Like those same commentators, them the zone dudes, them the zone cats, because you already know who they side with. You said something when we was chit chatting back and forth during the fight. The way they did Shushu. Now I don't like how Shushu ended that fight, right? And we'll get into that. I don't like how he ended that fight. But you were saying, oh, it's sweet science when Shakur do it, but when it comes down to Shushu, he has to do more.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the exact that's why I said that's what be getting me about them guys and how they commentate. For one, I don't know what fight they be watching. This was another situation, especially with that main event. You would have thought Abdullah was in there getting dog walk. And I know that's the meat and potato, but listen, this is the big picture, y'all. This is the big picture. When there's a war going on, right, and the media is there, like, yes, still speak your truth, right? But when you find yourself digging too deep and going in too far on something, you're catering to what they want to do. Like, it was crazy to see. Now, Tim, I agree with Tim's video, right? But I didn't like the spirit behind why Tim was doing it, because I know why Tim was doing it.
Yeah.
It's just like that interview with Andre Ward. Like, I like the hour and 30. That's a good, strong hour and 30. I didn't like it because I know what Andre Ward is. I know who he is in relation to Errol Spence.
Yeah.
He's a fucking snake. So hearing Tim saying that, it's like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Tim, but I know why you're doing it, because you're a part of the agenda. So why would I give you a like? Why would I give you a comment to like boost that shit up? Because what you're doing is you're catering to the bigger picture. Why? Earl got a fight coming up, and now it's all about him and Derrick. So I'm saying, listen, when it comes down to these narratives, and y'all know it's a media war going on, pick and choose the right battles. But we be looking at sounding, and there be people that got way more followers than me that be pushing this shit. I be like, pick and choose the right battles, because if you don't, you are a part of the agenda and you don't even know it.
Yeah, just like they was just jumping out the window, Xander quit. I was like, what part did you see that man quit? Because he took that deep breath on his knee? That's what a fighter does when they're defeated in their mind. It's saying, okay, what the fuck do I do next? Let me sit here a minute and try to figure some shit out before I get up. Me personally, I don't like when fighters do that after several knockdowns, especially in a championship fight, because then you give the ref and the judges an impression. If you're just doing it and the guy's counting or whatever, you're putting yourself in jeopardy that by the time you get up, he may wave that shit off because you're not acting like you're in the fight. Like, yeah, I just got dropped. When Errol got dropped, he bounced right back up. Some people were saying to his detriment, he might have got up too fast, but he got right back up. He was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. Let's go. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you where they failed. I'm gonna tell you where they failed. Because I was at the Stan Yarnus fight in Atlantic City, right? Where they failed was, and my father-in-law even said this, like, he retired on the stool. It's like, no. What they should have did was let Stan Yarnus come back out. And when the minute he started taking too much pressure, like a 3-4 piece, you know what I'm saying? The towel should have been thrown in.
Yeah.
Why? Because you alleviate any pressure from the fighter saying, nah, like, or giving up any kind of whatever, like giving up, you alleviate all of that. Now, with the what's going on with the Xander thing is, he looked over there and the corner was already saying it's enough, and he nodded his head like, yeah, and he just wasn't going to get up. So they say he quit, which he quit, you know what I'm saying? But that's the corner fault. They should have just did the Kenny Porter. That way, when you do the Kenny Porter, it alleviates all the pressure from the fighters. Like, okay, my guy took too much. Like, because them guys from the UK, you will see that shit. They'll toss that motherfucker in there. Like, you might think it's premature. You're like, oh man, the corner felt like that. But like, they alleviated it all, and the fighter can say, nah, man, I was still gonna keep going, and then your image won't take no hit. But it's an etiquette to this shit. And I blame the corner. That's why I'm not like if I want to use context to it all, yes, you could say Xander quit, but I can also say no, that's the corner's fault because the corner should have just did the Kenny Porter and threw the fucking towel. Stan Yarnus
the corner did throw the towel in, and Xander recognized it. So he was like, yeah, the corner saved me from myself. So if you could come out your face and give the other guy props, you went out like a champion. You gave him all the props. Yeah, I thought I had him, but he caught me again. And that time he really hurt me. And then the corner came in and he stopped me from myself. And I'm like, okay, I can buy that 1,000 days a week, including on Holy Christmas Eve, Easter Sunday. So I can buy that. It is rational. It is reasonable. You went out like a champion. Same thing with Albert Bell. He went out like a champion. And I'd be goddamn if I hear some weird ass channel come later and be like, oh, why Albert Bell quit? Did Albert Bell quit? Did we see Albert Bell quit? And I'm gonna be like, bro, see, y'all motherfuckers is crazy. And just to go back to, and I know we're getting ready to get into the meat potatoes, but this was the question that I asked you some time ago. When it came down to that Keyshawn Shakur and what's the name? When Keyshawn and Abdullah Mason were right there, and Keyshawn was like, look, I gotta bait this nigga to get a fight. I was like, how the fuck does, Jay Prince allow that? Like, Jay Prince, are you really gonna put Keyshawn Davis in the ring with Keyshawn Davis in the ring with Abdullah Mason? Are you gonna do that? Then tell Keyshawn to keep his fucking mouth shut. You're doing something that's not gonna happen. You're already saying you're not gonna fight this friend. You feel what I'm saying? But now you want to fight the young guy because the young guy doesn't want to be down with the friendship crew? Yeah, I'm just signed to the nigga. I'm not trying to be down with y'all like that. I just like the way Jay Prince does shit as management and quiet as kept. I'm starting to think after that performance right there, Jay Prince might be looking at them two niggas like, I think I'm gonna start cutting back on a little bit of money with these two dudes over here, cause the real money, and I'm about my money, this nigga moving like Ward and he moving like Bud. Yeah, I think I'd rather fuck with him and they families. So that, that's just the way I see it, man. And salute to my guy GMT, man, for pulling up, man. It's great to see you in the crowd, man. Hopefully you pull up on this panel when we get this shit going. And for that, I'm mute up and let you do the introductions and stuff like that to the meat and potatoes.
All right. Well, to address the Jay Prince thing, that shit been a thorn in my side. He knows what he got. He know what he got, and he looking at Shakur like he's the second coming of Floyd. And so he's gonna let Shakur this bubble wrap. There's bubble wrap on that man. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know where he going, what he got going on, what's happening. He looking, as far as his behavior, his moves, his energy, his he looking kind of bad. And that was a thorn in my side. I was like, because I'm still hearing people say, oh, well, they got the same management. And like people broke up this argument when it came down to T.O. and Richardson Hitchens, because they had the same manager. I'm like, okay, so why did T.O. get in the ring? Like, why didn't that fight happen? Why was Turkey talking about having them fight at Alcatraz? But they tried to Mandela effect us like that shit wasn't really going on. So it's like, you can't, like, we in the buy era where everybody went it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You got these three young stars. Abdullah is really surging right now. His name up in lights right now. He's making all the moves. And you would allow Keyshawn to keep running up on Abdullah. It is because he believe in that Jerry Jones shit. All publicity is good publicity. So that's that, you know what I'm saying? That's that 48 laws of power type shit, the way he gonna let it go wild because it's gonna manufacture clicks, like views, get people talking and blah blah blah. I see through that bullshit.
So
and that's why I said fruits and veggies not that ready to keep your blood pressure down so you don't get yourself all worked up.
So Body, Shakur Stevenson is the Pokemon card in the plexiglass case?
Yeah. Basically, and I see you in the back right here, GMT. Just hold tight 1 second. I gotta make one last point. This is the weird thing going back to the narratives, right? And this is something I want to talk about, man. We are in such a weird space when it comes down to like how these boxing fans, and to my surprise, it's a lot of the older people older. I'm about to be 46. People older than me that's pushing this kind of shit and this kind of thinking, y'all. And y'all gotta be aware of this because I don't want y'all to get mind fucked with this. And this is what it is. I heard it when it came down to boots. Some of us were in our evaluation phase, like that Earl Spence Bud shit that divided the boxing community. I said never again will I be involved in some shit like that. I'm gonna draw my line in the sand. I'm gonna pick my side, even if I like the other guy, because it used to be I love Tank, but then Shakur was like my close second. Now I don't give a fuck about what Shakur doing. I don't give a fuck if he retire tomorrow. I won't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause once he started making his moves, Richardson Hitchens just got on my bad side as far as like he did 2 goofy moves in a row, and I'm like, hey, bro, I've been pulling for you. I've been, you know what I'm saying, covering down for you. You done this the second goofy move. So I'm not all the way done with you. I still respect your skill, but you got one more move before I don't give a fuck about what you do either. You already went over the Zuffa. But this is what I'm getting at. We got people out here that's painting this narrative that there were all these Spence fans just waiting to jump over on the Boots train. There are some I talk about bandwagon ass people who just want to be part of the winning team. I talk about that all the time. But you got to think about it. If Earl was like basically retired and he just now announced that he was coming back, fans can opt to be fans of Boots. Like shit moves on. So what? Like even if you was a Tank fan, you ain't supposed to like nobody else out here when he's inactive. What if you a Jamel Charlo fan? You ain't supposed to like nobody else when he's inactive. What if you like me with Tank, Jamel, and Spence with your favorite fighters and they all been inactive? You ain't supposed to like nobody else. But since I don't build my channel like that and I talk about them all, I don't fall victim to that bullshit. But you got people painting that narrative. Now, you got people saying that the Tank fans are sliding over to be Abdullah Mason fan. And this is the dumbest shit in the world when you're a boxing fan. But you got supposedly diehard, hardcore, like old heads pushing this shit. It's like, no. If you're going to be a fan of a fighter, have your reason and stand on it. Don't be flip-floppy. Be able to draw your line in the sand, right? But then hold your fighter accountable just like you do everybody else, like you do the ops. If you're not doing that, you're not really a fan. You're really a casual disguised as a hardcore. But don't buy into these narratives. And that'll bring us into the meat and potatoes. This is the meat and potatoes. Let me pull this down. Abdullah Mason just joined the likes of Tank and Shock. What do you mean, Mike? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? He got a clutch gene, y'all. And the way he's moving, see, you got singles and then you got the team. He's not part of the team. He don't want to be part of the A team. He's not gonna be like Wildy Kit and Wildy Cat. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be part of the whole extended friends and family BFF package and none of that. So he's a single. Tank is a single. Shock is a single. I would have Gary Antoine in there as a single, but like Gary Antoine, one, he got a pack of brothers, but then I'm starting to see just in a slight way, man. Like that energy be a little different when something about that Shakur shit. The way him and Lamont, and those are my guys. But like the way him and Lamont address situation, the way they go with Shock, I can't put them as singles. You know what I'm saying? Like Gary Antoine, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? But like Tank, Abdullah, Shock, those guys are moving like singles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like once Tank get back, he's inactive. We can't talk about him that much because he's inactive. But the way Shock is moving, the way he's applying the pressure, the way he said, listen, man, I don't want to be, he said, what's wrong with wanting to get in the ring with somebody, right? And just want to beat them up. I don't want to be your buddy. I don't want to be your friend. He said, see, these guys want to be your friends so that when you go in the ring with them, there's no aggression. Well, guess what? Y'all know how many barriers? Do y'all know quiet is kept? Now, I know he a Muslim brother and, you know what I'm saying, he holy and all of that, Abdullah, but I'll be the spokesperson on this one. You know how much he just shitted on all his peers with this move he just made in so many different ways? For one, taking on somebody that experienced, that undefeated. He crossed the barrier of the late replacement. I talked about that earlier in the late replacement, how Shakur chose the electrician. When it was Kurt Scobie, J.D. Herrera, the Cuban Southpaw living in the United Arab Emirates, and then the electrician. He chose the electrician. When Tank had the late replacement with Rowley, he chose Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Like you can pick it. Now we've seen how crazy and like silly or how soft these late replacements be. Abdullah crossed that one. Not only did he cross the late replacement barrier with a guy like that was getting ready to fight Andy Cruz, if he wasn't confident, if he didn't work his way up, if he wasn't ducked at 130 by all the people that he was ducked by, maybe he's not in a position to be a late replacement. Maybe he might either A, already have a title, B, already got knocked to the back of the line, C, already getting ready to look at a unification somehow. And he's not going to be in a position to be a late replacement. Maybe. Right? But he also crossed this barrier. That was a guy that he sparred with, had familiarity with. Was it not only just a friend, but he was saying his Muslim brother. His Muslim brother. So to take a guy on like that amongst your peers in this area to where, I'll tell you one right now, Tiger Johnson said that more than likely him and Keyshawn would probably never fight. Why? Because they spar so many rounds. Because they sparred so many rounds. And this is something this was the precursor to something I said, the first one to come out here and say, no, this BFF shit, this is gonna fuck up divisions to come. Said that years ago, and here we are. So not only their relationship fucked up 135 for a little bit, it's fucking up 140, and now it's fucking up 147 in a mixture of 140 and 147. Think about it. Because Tiger, he ain't part of their network, but we won't ever see a Tiger and a Keyshawn fight, but they both campaign at welterweight. Albeit in the same line, gunning for Devin Haney. Abdullah just shitted on the masses with this one, y'all. He crossed so many boundaries with this one. He broke so many stereotypes. He caused so many people to run back, and they had to go back to the drawing board and get their excuses back together for what he was able to do. Now, the calling of this fight was egregious. And I already told y'all the other day, this is what I said. He's a hitman. This guy, Chris Mannix, he's a hitman. He's a media voice for hire. He need to be canceled. They got to do something about this DAZN shit. I got another one though. And they use these guys in tandem. This the Latin snake. Like, man, a name so befitting. You would have thought that the way that fight was going, and I put my scorecard up there, and that's why I told y'all when I was watching the fight, when I was watching the fights, and I'd be like, man, I'd be saying to my lady, I'd be like, man, babe, I don't know what fight they watching. I don't know what fight they watching. I don't know what they calling. I don't know what the fuck they talking about. But I just keep my score. I just keep my score round by round by round. Now, I think at the halfway mark, I had it knotted up. But it was a back and forth to me. And at one point, I think I had Bell winning 2 rounds. But the way I saw it, the way it all went down to me, for me, was that just like everything else, right? When it comes down to body work, a lot of the times, people don't get as much credit for body work as they do for headshots. Why? Because either you can see a head snapping back, you can see sweat flying off, you can see a whole lot of things. But with a body shot, especially if it's not a good one, if it's just a solid one and it's just work, it's just constant work, you don't really see nothing. It's all of a sudden you'll just see a guy, he ain't moving as much. So it's not as transparent. But Abdullah early on, he was not getting the credit for the body work early on. But he was still investing and putting water in the basement. Like Teddy always say, water in the basement, water in the basement, water in the basement. And it was accumulation. Between that and the one time when he hit him, I guess eventually when he hit him, and I think he kind of broke his nose or did something to his nose. You know what I'm saying? So between that, you not being able to breathe and then somebody going to your body, he basically he was like a boa constrictor in there. He started constricting and start and pouncing on them. You know what I'm saying? Aggressive fashion. And there were times where Bell got his combinations off in spurts. And in the beginning, yeah, he was getting countered with the right hand. But the way they were talking about it was just like, man, like he might get countered 3 times with the right hand, right? And they act like he won because he got counted 3 times by the right hand, but they were not counting the body work. So I was looking at it comprehensive. Every round I was looking at it comprehensive. You know what I'm saying? And so I think Bell made a good account of himself, and then Abdullah showed that there were levels. I do believe it was a premature stoppage, but it was on its way of going there. And like Abdullah said, he had more left. Now, to Abdullah's credit, and this is why I give this guy a lot of credit, because I saw this in the Tank fight. I tell AC this all the time. In that Lamont Roach fight and Tank fight, Tank had a shot. They worked on it. Just like that Rolly shit where you can see him and Coach Kenny working on him and that Rolly shit. And that's how he wound up stopping Rolly. He had that same, not that same shot. It wasn't that same shot, but they were doing the same thing where they were practicing this move before the fight. Tank had that shit like 2 or 3 times and he didn't pull the trigger. He didn't pull the trigger on him. Why? He didn't want to do him like that. There was a point in time in this fight where you could clearly see him like, man, Abdullah looking like, man, like he really don't want to like do it to him. But then guess what happened? His father dug in his ass and said, listen, man. He got fired up and told him, listen, when you get inside, run them hands. Slip, run them hands. You know what I'm saying? Get back, go back down to that body. You know what I'm saying? But run them hands when you get on the inside. Let's go. And he lit a fire up on him. And then Abdullah wound up coming out afterwards and saying as much. He's basically saying, man, it was time while I was looking at him, like, man, I saw shots that I could have. He's like, but he's like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it pretty much, it was in his head. Like, he didn't really want to do that. But guess what? He still bit down and did what he needed to do. I don't agree with the stoppage, and I love the way Bell reacted because Bell was like, he told the ref, man, get off me. The ref shouldn't have stopped it like that. He should have been able to go out on the shield, but you know what I'm saying, who knows? Maybe he would have clinched. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, we don't know what would have happened, but we saw where it was heading. I don't like the fact that the ref did that. But just because the ref did that, I can't say as a robbery and that Bell would have won. Like, that's the whole stupid, crazy thing that everybody was saying. I'm like, I don't know what fight y'all were, even my scorecard. When I looked at my scorecard, and I posted my scorecards in a post for everybody to see how I take my notes and how I do my scorecards. I posted it right after the fight. It was very transparent. But I'm so proud of Abdullah, man, and his father, Valiant. And the standard right now is the way that Valiant is doing things. If you're talking about a boxer, a boxing father, trainer, how he conduct himself, You gotta think about it. He had to do it 3 times. That's the same. Only person closest to doing that right now is Mr. Gary Russell, who's the heir to the throne since his pops, R.I.P. to him, he passed away. He's the only one that's doing that, where Antonio might go out there and fight, and then Gary Antoine might go out there and fight, or he might have to fight later. He's the only one in that capacity that has to actually do that. Valiant, he doing it all. So much class. He said that his sons never even got in a fist fight. They never even raised their hands to hurt each other. But the way he's grooming his son, the way he has full control of his son, the way he can give commands to his son go out there and execute, and the level of success and the barriers that they are breaking, they are single-handedly changing the game for his peers. So the last one is Abdullah, and Abdullah don't got to worry about the stigma where he always got to be bigger, taller, longer, more athletic, more stronger, all these other things. You don't got to worry about that stigma no more. Like, he's really on some anybody can get it type shit. And so that's the opening to the meat and potatoes, man. I salute him. This man got a clutch gene, y'all. When the heat is on, he can get it on. I don't know what happened to GMT. Thomas Hill, salute.
Yeah, salute, Thomas. Yeah, I'm in the same vein. Basically, the fight that I'm looking at between Bell and Mason, I think I had texted you, and within that round, I think it was the prior round where Bell was up against the rope and Mason caught him with that straight, and it just seemed as that straight that he caught him with, that knocked his head back like that, that might have been the punch that caught that broke his nose. I was saying it looks like Mason is starting to break him down. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, his pops was telling him, go to the body, leave the head alone. Just, he's right there. Just take it. If he's boom, boom, boom. That's when I was laughing and like, yo, his pops deserves trainer of the year for this shit right here, because he going in. And, to do that 3 times with your sons on a major card, and your sons have the pressure of fighting. You have the pressure of guiding them through, making sure they stay focused, making sure they win. And his pops did that in a magnificent way. He didn't tell none of them any sort of weird stuff like, you know what you got to do. What's wrong with you? Just go out there and get him. He didn't do none of that. He gave them specific instructions. This is what you need to do. Double, triple up that jab. When he was talking, I'm bad with their names. When he was talking to the first son that got the unanimous decision, he was telling them to double more up on the jab, triple up on the jab, so you can get in, and then you can start to let them hands go. You know what I'm saying? When it came down to the youngest son, he was just telling him, look, you just calm down a little bit, take your time, be a little bit more patient. Those shots are right there. He's right there for you. Blah, 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 blah. With Mason after the first round, calm down, get into it. Mason also says, yeah, the shot that, he made, the shot that put him down, I'm looking at that shot all night long. He was susceptible to it all night long, but I was hesitant to take it. Like, wow. So you're talking about a dynamic of 2 guys when you're talking about your basic, when you're talking about your religious brother, your Islamic brother. You feel what I'm saying? Your Aki. And if you said that, and this is the dynamic between them 2, would all the lovey-dovey, that's my bro, laugh, giggle, hee-hee, tee-hee-hee type stuff that you see Shakur and Keyshawn doing, it's not even gonna be, why watch it? Why promote it? Why push it? These dudes are not gonna fight each other the way they would fight anybody else. And Abdullah Mason had shown that even with that dynamic, to where we have a real connection like that, he still had compassion for his buddy, but he managed to compartmentalize that compassion over going home with an L. I found it a little bit weird of some of the scoring and stuff like that. I thought it was a little bit heavy. I thought the fight was a lot closer. I could agree to the four for people who had it 4-2. I was kind of leaning more towards, 4-3. I saw the fight a little bit closer. I was loving Abdullah Mason's body work and stuff like that. He was pressing the fight. When he did catch Bell, you heard Mason punches more than you heard Bell's. So for me, the more effective punching was coming from Mason, although Bell was outworking him early, or giving the appearance of outworking him, using his footwork, using that straight right as a defensive tool. I'm a score with it, but I'm also going to use it as a defensive tool. And that's the way I was kind of more seeing the straight right. It wasn't like you were throwing it because there was some sort of conviction behind it to where it's, I'm going to keep putting this punch out there, drop it with some body work, and then start to break him down and have him accustomed to the right. Then I'm going to drop the left on him. I didn't see that. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, I was more or less figuring that a lot of Bell's movements was to possibly survive. Now, we heard those stories from sparring. Maybe it was, Bell really felt a difference in power. He's like, yo, this young dude is young, but he cracking. Otherwise, you have to understand, why would you bring him back? Why would y'all have so many sparring sessions if it wasn't what it is? Mason was probably like, yeah, I'm always gonna go there because messing with Bell is, that's a different level of boxing. That's a skill set that I'm gonna have to overcome if I'm gonna, try to get into this elite level. So with all of that being said, man, the familiarity showed its face, but then when it came down to it, it did not matter. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much my take about the familiarity part. And concerning the late replacement, yeah, I was very concerned for the late replacement, especially being a late replacement and, you being that guy. The goofy shit, to go back to the narrative to where, I think it was Sergio who, when they was like, one of the guys was talking about, this is a late replacement. And then Sergio was like, no, he wasn't. It was two, maybe three other guys before he got to him. So, And then what's the name was like, then you have to understand. Then I don't remember who else it was, but somebody said, but you have to understand, why. We're talking about Albert Bell here. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, for me, man, he showed what I said, and some goofy fan was trying to, talk to me in a weird way. And I was saying, look, bro, Shakur, Devin, and Boots would not put their O on a line like that. The dude was like, what do you mean that they're automatically Hall of Famers and all of this other stuff? Boots just beat Xander, and Shakur just beat Teofimo Lopez, who was a former lineal champion, and Devin just beat Brian Norman. I said, yeah, but you missed the point of what I just said. You definitely just missed the point of what I just said. And that's why my comment wasn't meant for a fan like you. Because at the end of the day, we talk about 50-50 fights. We give these guys credit and stuff like that. When I'm saying what I'm saying, and to match that, you have to look at what people were saying going into the fight. You can't reap the rewards of a great victory when you were shitting on your opponent, the media and boxing channels alike. Both sides, legacy media and boxing channels on social media are shitting on the opponent. Oh, Brian Norman, what has Brian Norman done? He ain't done nothing. He ain't fought nobody. He just got the one punch. And oh, y'all gonna make a big deal because Brian Norman just because he knocked out Jin Sasaki. Now Brian Norman is X, Y, and Z. Oh, really? Really? Oh, Xander just beat a Boss Baru and blah, 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 blah. Oh, really? 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 So what's the relevance of Shakur beating Zepeda? What's the relevance of Shakur knocking out Patty? Oh, Shakur back. He back in his knockout ways. Shakur knocking shit out again. But that's what y'all dudes are saying. Boots knocks out Lima and people are acting like Lima was this world fucking beater. Like Lima was one hit quitting everything that he touched. Or he outboxing you and making you look like James Toney versus Iran Barkley. No. Brian Norman gets the Jin Sasaki knockout. He's on a terror. He's showing everybody. He sold us all because of how he's getting down in boxing, and we seeing it. He didn't have to take the Devin fight. He could have went and did something else. Xander could have did something else. But they believed in themselves. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. That's just it. But they believed in themselves more than Dev, Shakur, and Boots will fight on the opposite side. Because when they had the opportunity, they did not go after the baddest motherfuckers. You did not run to them. And when the baddest motherfuckers mentioned your name, you didn't say shit. Here's the thing. Gary Russell called out Shakur and Devin Haney. Neither one of them said shit. And some weird goofy dude was on an argument. No, it was Bill's name. Well, the whole thing was, it doesn't matter whose name on it. What matters is the fact that Devin played the game with sending the man a contract. Whether you spell my name wrong, whether you spell your own name wrong, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the bullshit you just tried to do. Don't argue with me about the semantics, Devin Haney fans. I don't give a fuck about the semantics. I'm telling you what's the bigger picture, and you want to argue, no, it's not, see, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't be a real Devin Haney fan, because if you was, you would have known it was Bill's name that was signed wrong. So fucking what? The bigger picture is you sent the man a fucked up contract. Why can't we agree on that? Why can't that be the starting point? And at the end of the day, that's my point. Would you, at that age, would you have put up your O to face that guy or someone like that? No, the fuck they wouldn't. And even at Jerome Boots and his current level, Eddie Hearn said, I wouldn't have made that fight. I wouldn't have made the fight. He told y'all, Boots, in the same position that Xander was, Eddie Hearns wouldn't have made that fight. That's why he won't put Conor Benn in there with him. That's why he won't do a lot of things. That's why there's still a contract with Boots and Josh Kelly. And who the fuck are y'all talking about? Instead of a unification, y'all want us to do Virgil. Virgil, that's what we're gonna talk about. But at the end of the day, Abdullah is showing and proving. Yeah, okay, I got these three opponents. Who's the baddest motherfucker that's in shape? Okay, oh yeah, he's in shape? Send that. Now it makes sense because we talked about it before. Just like Hitchens and Shakur talked about it. We talked about it before, and now I'm gonna give my man the opportunity. I'm gonna get a homie the opportunity to come see me. You're already in shape. You're already in the gym. It wasn't like Albert Bell wasn't in camp. It wasn't like Albert Bell didn't have a fight coming up, so he was ready, and he showed up. It's just that Mason corner gave him very solid instructions, and Mason followed those instructions, and he showed championship level quality. Listen to what Albert Bell told him. He said, "Listen, man, listen, you got it. Now go get it. Go take it all. Go take it all." From the guy people want to say was robbed and make the biggest issue. Oh, no, it's the stoppage. I don't give a flying fuck about the stoppage. I saw a defeated man sitting there. I saw a defeated man get cracked again and desperately trying to hold on to the young man. And Abdullah using both of his forearms to just say, nope. Right there. What did he do? He got up on his knee, looked at the ref, took a deep breath, and was like, "Oh, yeah. And that right there cost him the fight. Because the ref is looking at him like, are you there? What's going on with you? And you can see that the ref is looking at the nigga for at least a good 10 to 12 seconds. Is there a need for the count? I don't know. When you're looking at somebody that's defeated, in their mannerism, their face, they take that, oh my God, I got this shit ain't over yet, deep breath. You feel what I'm saying? And if the argument is, yeah, it was premature, okay, I'll buy into it. But in my own personal space, I don't feel that way. I just feel it's a defeated man. Yes, you could have gave him the opportunity to try to make it to the 12th round, but you're dealing with a defeated man. His intent may be wanting to complete the fight, but his body and his will, I don't know if it makes it there. Even if it's 54 seconds or 1 minute and 24 seconds left. To a defeated person, a defeated mentality, that shit is a lifetime. That shit is a lifetime. That each second you could damn near hear that shit clicking. Tick, tick. And you look up at the clock like, damn, I still got 54 seconds left.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that do it, they just don't make it out. They don't make it because either the clock is gonna knock you out, or you worrying about the clock and trying to make it to the bell. I just didn't see Bell making it to the bell.
Yeah, it was downhill, but let me say shout out to Ace Ostin, man, for the cash app, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. The channel appreciate you, man. But I'll say this. For me, I understood Bell's frustration, but like if we're gonna be hindsight, maybe he don't take on any more damage or get punched in the nose. You know what I'm saying? Or get his rib cracked, or maybe he don't take on more damage. So maybe the ref was looking out for him in that aspect. But the bigger picture is when I put this up. We put this up to the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a narrative killer. To the narrative, man. It was 107, 102. Like when you look at the scorecards, and that's my scorecard and how I keep score. But when you look at it, right, it was 107, 102 without that 12th round. That's how I had it. Bell had got the second round. He got the fourth in the first 5 rounds. He got the second, the fourth, and the fifth in my book. So out of 5 rounds, it was 3-2 after the 5 rounds. And then that's when that's kind of like when Abdullah started really like making his adjustments and started, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing. But the narrative is that because he got stopped, the way the hitman Chris Mannix and the snake Sergio Mora was talking about the fight in them ugly ass unofficial scorecards, you would have thought that Bell was beating the dog shit out of Abdullah. And I asked this question in our breakdown when we were breaking down the fights. I said, is it one of them things to where Bell think he gonna be able to just sit back? Because even in some of them rounds where you could say, yeah, he was countering Abdullah with the right hand, but I didn't see Abdullah get buckled, get wobbled, you know what I'm saying? Like he got hit, you know what I'm saying? He was getting countered, but like to me, even in some of them things, aside from the rounds that I gave him, Abdullah was getting countered in them early rounds with the right hand, but those few little counters was not winning the rounds. And see, that's the thing to the narrative, because you got people calling the fight because they want to dick ride other fighters. And you already know, we know. That's why I was wondering whether or not the whole Tim Bradley, Bud, and all them being there, I was wondering, and Sean Porter, I was wondering whether or not how that was going to impact the way people were talking about the fight. And we can clearly see it was, because we already know who their guy is or their guys. So we know what so earlier on, the way they were talking, like, yeah, man, you could see the youngness, you could see the immature, like you could definitely tell this one was experienced. I'm like, what are y'all looking at? Like, I'm like, what are y'all watching? Like, because going back to what I was originally starting to say, I believe that you got to take it from the champ. So the round that I gave it to him because when it was multiple exchanges, and whenever there were multiple exchanges, I felt like in those rounds that I gave Bell, he won the better of multiple exchanges. It wasn't just him countering Abdullah a couple times, because if you look at the output, it wasn't enough output to like take it from the champ, is what I was looking at. I was scoring the fight. Who's been by the 4 scoring criteria? Ring generalship. Who was dictating whatever? Ring generalship, right? They were trying to say that Abdullah wasn't cutting off the ring. I think that I don't think that he was constricting the ring in the beginning. I don't think in the beginning he was really constricting the ring, but we seen how the shark wasn't cutting off the ring. Abdullah was cutting off the ring, but he wasn't constricting it all the way. So ring generalship, effective aggression, right? Effective punching and defense. So maybe you could say in the round that I gave him, he had better defense. He was more effective with the punches, and he was dictating when the engagement was happening and winning the exchanges. So that's 3 out of the 4 scoring criteria. So I could give you a round on that, but I'm not giving you no round based on no lip service. And I always tell y'all this: if I got a guy that I'm pulling for and I can't decisively say who won that round, I'm giving it to the other guy by default. I'm just gonna give it to him to keep myself honest. But when I look at them all, I'm like, that's why I was telling my lady, I say, I don't know what fight they're looking at. So let's just say it was no stoppage. If Abdullah would have got his hand raised, there was no robbery. I don't even see how people could say that because of the way Chris Mannix unofficial was. Because you would have think after 6 rounds, 7 rounds, that Bell was in there just beating the dog shit out of Abdullah. I'm like, I don't know what, in the way they were commentating the fight, they spent the whole time talking about what Abdullah needed to do. And while they were talking, Abdullah was stabbing him to the body, going up top. You know what I'm saying? Applying the pressure. The same shit they like with Pitbull, but not as pretty. Pitbull ain't as pretty, but applying the pressure, a la Mexican style, making the fight, like taking the fight to the other guy. You know what I'm saying? And like I always say, body work don't get accounted for the way headshots do. So when somebody's going to the body, yeah, the fighter's going to slow down eventually. The op who's getting the body work done to them, they're going to slow down. But I'm seeing now judges, unless you really buckle somebody or you make like that shit that Buddy did to Shushu at the end, yeah, they gonna count that because they clearly see, yeah, he's hurt to the body like visibly, but that was at the end. But that's what I was saying about this fight. It was like, man, like as far as the agendas and what was going on, they were making it seem like they was gonna try to rob Abdullah, but like, let's just say those 2 knockdowns don't happen in the front of the round. There was not going to be a robbery if he got his hands raised. If you were watching boxing, like if you were a boxing purist and you were just scoring the fight. That's why I always score the fight for myself. And I listen to what they saying, but I still make my own judgment. And for anybody who won it, that's my scorecard right there.
I was just trying
to. It's in the community post. If you,
I was trying to see where we were based in the time of the text, and try to correlate that to the round where I was saying that Bell looking like he being broken down, and that's I think that might have been around the 5th round or so, maybe the 5th or 6th round. But at the end of the day, I can't. I'm just amazed that people are harping on the stoppage over the fight and trying to take Abdullah's credit for his performance because of the stoppage. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just like I get it. The zone, y'all gonna cover Keyshawn a certain way because Keyshawn is signed to Top Rank, but he has that close relationship with Shakur. So you're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and that's about the only person you're not gonna shit on like that. Shakur, it doesn't matter what he does, you're gonna give him the credit. Devin Haney, pretty much the same thing. Jerron Bootsen is pretty much the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But as we're looking at Abdullah Mason, I was getting extremely frustrated, and I was just like, how the hell did Chris Mannix have it basically a 7-round shutout? Like, Abdullah didn't do nothing in the first 7 rounds. Are you kidding me? When you look at Chris Mannix's scorecard, it had Bell winning 7 rounds. I was like, bro, if that ain't a fucking weird ass hit job that's going on here, like one of 2 things is in my opinion, is going to happen soon. I feel like Jay Prince is either going to drop Abdullah and Abdullah's going to sign to a new management, or Jay Prince is just going to move Abdullah in a much, much different way, to whereas we're going to see a hell of a lot more of Abdullah than we might see of Shakur and Keyshawn. Let them dudes do what the fuck they want to do, fight once every year or every 12 years, and, you know, fight somebody that, you know, everybody's going to talk about that ain't shit, got losses, got this, got that. So then when they beat him, see, told you Shakur was that man. Shakur and Keyshawn, they see that's what real boxing fans want. And it's like, no, the fuck we don't. When I come out and I see, you know, a channel do a 2-part series on the media shitting on Abdullah Mason, like when you look at Boots win, when I turned on YouTube that night, every other boxing channel was talking about Boots. The next day, every other channel was talking about Boots. The day after that, every other channel was talking about Boots. It wasn't until like Thursday or Friday channels are really trying to talk about, or even early as Wednesday, channels were trying to talk about Mason versus Bell. You know what I'm saying? And then within the scope of these channels talking about Mason versus Bell, they were still talking about Boots. So I'm just like, I don't get it. This is the guy that's doing everything y'all say y'all want in boxing. He's doing all the cool. He's running after the smoke. He's got the hottest saying, appetite for smoke. You feel what I'm saying? He's talking it and living it. You know, like Biggie said, niggas talking it but ain't living it. Cristal, you feel what I'm saying? Mob hats and lizard shit. So it's like, Abdullah Mason is doing all of that. The Mason Five are doing all of that. But I
They
guess the
not.
hit is because Mason 5 is doing it bigger and better than DB3 without the crash outs, without the worry of the crash outs.
No,
So y'all
you
want
got.
to go ahead.
You got to think, man. Right now, let everybody tell it. We are in the Shakur era.
That is crazy.
Like that, he's still riding that wave from the Tiafimo, and I'm like,
I think honestly, if you ask me, let Mason choose another tough opponent like Albert Bell. We can pretty much say we are in the Mason era.
I mean, we know what era. Like it's not like right now. I think it's kind of up for grabs. Like if I had to say we was in an era, it would probably be the David Benavidez era right now. But like, but it's up for grabs as far as these other guys because the way Oshaki moving, like the way he dusted off for us and the way he did Ray Ford. Like everybody was talking cash money, but because he's barking up that Shakur tree, he gets slandered. Like Mason poses a threat to Shakur. Now he's teeter-tottering because I was saying, man, I don't even care if Mason ever fight at 35 again. If it ain't a unification with somebody, like I would say, go get a JDR Herrera. You know what I'm saying? Go get, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do something like that before you leave, or like if Kid Austin won it, then do that because I would love to see that. Because I'm tired of Kid Austin and his father in their mouth, like talking about what they would have done, and I'm like, man, y'all just STFU, man. Go find some real estate. You know what I'm saying? And get hot. You know, but I'm ready for Abdullah to go to 40.
Yeah, the only reason why I would be leaning more towards, and I get what you're saying because it's kind of like a unofficial person in line. And if you had the top 3 people that you can say, all right, if you were going to give this era 2 based on performances and last couple of fights, David Benavidez would probably get the most votes. You feel what I'm saying? Oshak would definitely get tons of votes. The question mark would be what type of votes Mason would get because you gave us, Sam Noakes, and right after Sam Noakes, you give us Albert Bell. Arguably, quietly, low key, out of active fighters at 35, probably the 2 toughest guys. We just got to see how Sam Noakes looks in his next fight. And the beautiful part was, Mason said, how would y'all like to see a Mason and Bell on the same card? Giving Bell props like, yeah, I won. I'm original. I've just put myself in a position until Tank comes back, I'm the bag at 35. I might be the potential bag at 35 based on what Top Rank is willing to put out there for me and my 2 brothers. And we're pretty much showing them that we're a sound investment. It's pay-per-view versus streaming. I think I'm going to put my money in streaming because streaming is actually, I could trade that within a stock market. I could buy shares in these streaming platforms. So for me, my money's going to go in streaming, even though everybody's not seeing it right now. They still thinking the pay-per-view model is it. No, it's streaming if you're really looking at the money. And Abdullah Mason is streaming. David Benavidez and Oshaki, you're there because I would say I'm coming into the company and you 2 guys are the old vets. Even though there's asterisks by your name, Oshaki got the couple of losses and he got the robbery. And they're going to use that against him. David Benavidez, you got the nose candy and then this weight thing. Although you cleared those up. Same thing with Oshaki. But the goofies are still going to go back to that. The worst thing the worst thing they can say about Mason was he was dropped twice. But then the caveat is I came back and I knocked the guy out in the next round.
Well, yeah. The thing is, my point is this: like, yeah, as hardcore as we know who making the moves, because we always give credence to the guys that's moving the way we need the sport of boxing to move. So that's why we're high on these guys that we just mentioned. But as long as there are still Canelo fans out there, they're like their voice or whatever, and whatever influence, whoever they can hop on opposite end of, they're not going to be on the Benavidez bandwagon. And with Shakur and the moves and the wave that he riding, even though I think he done kind of rolled it out. I mean, we in July and we don't know nothing. A bunch of speculation. He made a bad move, bad character, not shaking O'Shaquie hand, saying that he would fight him if he beat his little man. He sent Lil Ray to school. He reneged. He said he was going to sign a Zuffa on May 30th. It's July the 6th. Still no Zuffa signing. Ryu go out. He spark De Los Santos and get his get back, call out Shakur, and then he say, "Oh, I'd rather fight Gary Antoine." Like, so we don't know what's going on, but he still has a big, huge fan base that is going to sing his praises, and they're not going to give credence to nobody else, especially if he pose any kind of threat. And the funny part, they're not even in the same weight division, and he posed that big of a threat.
Exactly. Now
He's going to sound like Sasquatch feet if he come to 40.
Oh, hell yeah. Now here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. All right. Cordina's still sitting at number 1, so we may get that fight just as a courtesy, and Abdullah may just say, I'll give you the fight if he doesn't go after one of these vacant belts that the WBA is vacant and the WBC is vacant. There's only 2 champions at 35. He could go after Morataya. We'll see what Morataya wants to do. You feel what I'm saying? But the one person I don't know if I heard from or they showed any tweet from, you correct me if I'm wrong, was Lamont Roach. I know Lamont Roach got this Zapata thing coming up, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at. I don't know if Morataya is going to stay there or if Morataya is going to. I know Morataya would want to get up for this fight because after watching that performance last night, if I was Morataya, I'd be hungry for a Mason fight, because if I can beat Mason, you feel what I'm saying? Then I inherit all of those chips. But the sad part about it is you're like, as far as Morataya is, and I'm a big fan of Morataya. Stylistically wise, you're Sam Noakes. You're gonna be right there for Abdullah to beat up on. You got some shit with you. You got some experience. You got some dog in you. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that if he doesn't stay at 35, I would hope that he goes after Morataya. You feel what I'm saying? If not Morataya, JD Herrera. WBA, they're gonna figure out what's gonna go on with that belt. But those are the 2 fights I think he's got in front of him, with the caveat being probably Joe Cordina. But I would really hope that he, put some pressure on Morataya to say either cough up that IBF, let me get that. You feel what I'm saying? Or get the fuck up out of my division.
I think it's already Morataya. I think they already gone. Like, he got this fight coming up against, I think he gonna fight Conceição, and then he
okay.
Lamont Roach gonna fight Zapata in less than a month's time, a couple weeks, three and a half weeks. He gonna fight Zapata. Lucas Body and Schofield supposedly are fighting for the WBA while Tank is at recess. And I don't know what's going on with JD Herrera, but for me, man, I wouldn't wait around for these guys, man. I wouldn't if I was Abdullah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't wait around because Abdullah I think he need to move up, man.
Yeah, don't fuck up your
more power. He gonna have more power, and they definitely him and Mortire. That'll be a barn burner at 140, where they can hydrate and they can saying they don't got to cut as much, and we get to really see. And that's the dangerous about Mortire. Like you might think he might be there to hit, but he got way more power than Albert Bell.
Let me say this funny shit, man. He moves up, right? Abdullah Mason moves up, right? Stays with the WBO. I'm asking this question: where do they place him? Because you got Emiliano Vargas, Linfondo Delgado, Oscar Duarte, and Tito Mercado and Adam Azim as the top 5.
At the champ moving up, he would probably leapfrog all of them. He probably leapfrog all of them as the champ moving up. If you go by what they did, look at Keyshawn. Keyshawn did what at 40 to get number 1 at 47. So they going. I mean, we will have to put some eyeballs on, because I don't think he would have to work his way as the champ. Like he not dropping no belt, losing no belt or nothing. He's the champ moving up. You know what I'm saying? Like some bud shit. You know what I'm saying? Like not with undisputed, but with having that WBO. I think you know what I'm saying. I think he would have. He would have a right to the throne.
So what does Shakur do? Does he stay at 40 or does he drop back down to 35?
Hey, that's for the Shakurians to figure out. That's why I say Abdullah coming up there like Sasquatch feet, thunderous. You know what I'm saying? Your heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Like Sasquatch feet. Like you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Shakur, hey, shit don't get off the pot, my nigga. Hey, I'm coming up there, man.
Exactly.
I'm coming up there, bro. And you talking about I'm green? Well, you got that strap. I'm coming up there for that strap, bro.
And he knows, and he just proved that he could bite down and deal with you boxers, deal with you pure boxers. You feel what I'm saying?
Before I cut out, let me say this. Shakur don't like it to the body.
Oh no.
He don't like it to the body and all that. Yeah, but Shakur, he's surgical, and if Bell can do that, man, he don't take risks like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I want to see him go to 40, man. I ain't saying he should rush, but like the way I seen him and how his weight, he's a young man. I don't want to spend too much time down there. And even if he don't move up and fight the champ like right away, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want him to do that. Use his leverage, his belt as leverage, and continue being a champ, because without a belt, people gonna pick, choose, and refuse and make it hard. But like, I would love that move. Go right up to 40 and be like, hey, I'm here now, bro.
Yeah, I'm just like, now it's gonna be a question for you, Body. And it's gonna be a tough question to ask and also answer, because you know how we like our brutal honesty. Abdullah moves up. Does Mercado beat Abdullah at 140?
Man, honestly, yeah. I say yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah. I probably would say yeah.
You got Tito beating Abdullah?
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, yeah. He acclimated. He hasn't been on no top ranked diet either. He's been fighting killers and he's been doing the same thing that Abdullah been doing. But yeah, I would say yeah. Right now, just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Just being honest, yeah.
I could see it happening, but I think, I don't know. I can't. I honestly can't call it. Because I could see certain things that Abdullah does really well, that the heavy confidence of Tito um, might put him in a weird place. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be. Ooh, I think that's a fight and a half at 140. Um, Again, we discussed this earlier. Tito is one of the quiet assassins up there. He's one of the guys that we can literally see the future. That if he stays at 140, which I seriously doubt, I could probably see him moving up to 47. Um, but at 140, he has all the potentials of running that division. He's
He a
got the
big
height.
140. Yeah, he a
Huh?
big 140.
Yeah,
He a big one for him and Hirioka. Those some big 140s, man.
yeah, and that's why I say, like, the fight that I'd be most nervous for Abdullah and his mantra of appetite for smoke, if he stepped out and he said, I want Hirioka. That might be the first fight in me looking at Abdullah like, I don't know if you're going to, like, I said I don't know about Bell, but I would probably be like, I want Abdullah to win, but I think Andy Hirioka is just going to take Abdullah to a different place that there are no visa issues or no crazy shit like that. Like, he's young, and that's the only downfall when it comes down to some of these guys that are a bit more older. They got that natural viciousness in them of being at 140. They've been tasting what power feels like at 140 and things like that. And 140 might be a different animal for Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? If he stays there and runs the gauntlet and goes after the smoke, then I can see him probably taking his first L and then bouncing back. You feel what I'm saying? Like a Gary, probably like a Andy, and some of these other guys who are at 140 and the top contenders at 140. He's not going to play it safe up there. So that's the part that's just going to be like, if he could do it and then stay undefeated and then move to 47, bruh, when he get up to 47, I think dudes is just going to be like, look here, man, just take my belt. I ain't even trying to fight you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in how they moving, man. I don't see them moving them too. I don't see them moving them too crazy, and I wouldn't recommend it because he is still young. But I ain't looking into that part yet. I'm just saying, man. He got a bright future, man, and I know his father, his team, Jay Prince. Because they'll be able to veto or they'll be able to approve or deny. And I think you can't question how they moving them because so far so good. And they've allowed him to be able to make, spread his wings, and he's been taking risks. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to like me personally, I don't want to burn him out or do, because 1 year. And I'm gonna land here. 1 year, my guy Bam, he fought 5 times, and that was that's when he got his jaw broke. But he was taking on everybody, and I'm like, you don't want to do that with a guy like that. And he wants it, but see that kind of stuff will happen. Like, I think that's the reason why Bam, and he still won, but that's when he got his jaw broken shit. But like fighting like that and fighting them tough joints like back to back like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could, with a young guy, you could fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? So I trust in how they're gonna move him. They're gonna assess the situation. I just think that shit, you go up there and get that Shakur fight. Shit. I don't think he got to worry about no broken jaw. But yeah, man, I just wanted to salute the young brother, man, and give him his props. He got a clutch gene, and he made his peers look bad. He making his peers look bad, like all the way around. He did the backflip at the end, the uniform, the all white. That shit was crispy. He put on for his family. His father looked good in the coaching effort. You know what I'm saying? Him and Bill, they actually fought. It wasn't no friendly fire and all that, man. I just think that he's on his way. You don't got to worry about saying, oh, he need all the advantages and he need, he got to feel low. He shattered a whole bunch of those things, how these other guys are moving. And it's something that needed to be talked about. A stake needed to be put in the ground, man. So,
yeah. For me, where I landed is basically this. In the first couple of rounds, at the end of the round, you saw Bell and Mason give each other dap. And then they didn't give each other dap until after the fight. That tells you a dynamic changed, and that switch went on for both of them to where they both felt, okay, this ain't the sparring match no more. This is a real fucking fight. You feel me? And I think that may be a dynamic a lot of people miss, but it just tells you the mindset that, okay, I'm cool with you. Now I got to fuck you up. And that's the part for me that I just noticed, and I was like, yeah, Bell and Mason in a different place right now. Especially Mason, because Mason wouldn't even acknowledge him. He's like, look, I just want the next round to come so I can keep chipping at you, and I'm gonna win this fight. I'm not about to go home with a loss. So these are the type of dynamics that at the end of the day show me the nature of a great champion. You have to battle within yourself, and that battle within himself and the opponent that's in front of him, that let me know a lot. That let me know a lot of the character. And when you talk about the character of a boxer, these are the things that people want to build and say, yeah, is he the people's champion? Is he this? Is he that? Yeah, he's showing you. The young man is showing you. And what we're looking at and where he may end up, we don't know. You feel me? But I put this out there. If Mason took, and I'm doing air quotes, what people would say a medium touch, would people come out their face and say, oh, look at Mason, he's now doing the whatever, cherry picking? And it's like, bruh, yeah, that's going to solidify that there's a narrative around Mason, to whereas people want to try to talk about, oh, the Bud effect, where these great boxers are doing great things, but they won't get the credit for it. You know, Birdman tried to make that argument for Boots and stuff like that. Cigar Talk tried to make the argument. Shakur tried to make the argument for himself. Devin and the Devin Haney fans try to make it for Devin Haney and stuff like that. But when you really, really look at it, people wanted to diminish David Benavidez' win to an elbow. And then you heard certain fighters say, well, you know, I'm not looking to throw elbows and stuff like that. And it's like, why would you say that? Why would you even say that? Like, out of all of those punches, you think the elbow, if you know, elbow was the punch that knocked him out like that, that was fucking him up over and over again, you're going to diminish that whole entire ass kick into one elbow. You're going to diminish his whole entire fight because of the ref stoppage. I'm just like, yeah. These are the guys that are doing it big. When it came down to what's his name, Collazo, down at 112 right now, Puerto Rican dude, because he fucked the dude up the way he fucked him up, Sergio and all of them was coming out, no, this was a cherry pick, this was this was the worst thing I've ever seen, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy how they're looking at these guys that are doing the things and the guys that are really legitimizing their pound for pound or being argued to be on the pound for pound or the face of Latino boxing or whatever. You're taking all of that away from them. So now that Xander lost, Collazo is probably no longer in the conversation of being the face of Puerto Rican boxing or automatically inheriting that face of boxing, of Puerto Rican boxing. So this is just the weird shit of boxing. This is the weird shit of this era of boxing, the social media era. And it's a bit tired, old. Like, let's just appreciate the people who are doing it and running after the smoke. And if they want to take an easy fight in between there because they need to let their body rest, like, you can't go and be banging like that. Like, none of you YouTube dudes are running out in the street and finding the biggest, strongest hitter in the hood and saying every day, listen, I'm going to choose one of these big, heavy hitters in my hood or the next hood, and I'm going to square it off and we going to knock each other out. None of y'all ain't doing the Kimbo Slice type stuff. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all doing the knock 'em down Sandy type stuff. So at the end of the day, I don't expect every fighter to go one tough fight after tough fight after tough fight after tough fight throughout their career. It'll fuck you up. Your career will be short. And on top of that, if he loses, what are you fans gonna say? Told you Abdullah Mason was chinny. I was like, when the fuck was Abdullah Mason chinny and Sam Noakes was cracking on him? Wow. He get dropped 2 times in a fight and knocks a guy out. Now he's chinny. Okay, that's what it is. It is what it is. And that's where I landed, man. Great show. On to the next one. I don't know what happened with Slick and stuff like that. Maybe he's preparing for his show and stuff like that. Because usually he be on around this time or whatever, going into 10 o'clock or whatever. So I don't know. I would have loved to hear his take on some of this stuff, but it is what it is. Sometimes we have patience, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, just invite him back, man. Just invite him back.
Yeah, for sure.
But I appreciate you doing your thing as usual, man. Hope you enjoy your evening, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, same to you, bro. On to the next one, man.
All right. Had another good one in the books, y'all. I'm not gonna hold y'all that long because I'm gonna keep it. I'm trying to keep it at 2, but I say this, man. We can clearly see it's an agenda out here. You know, I've asked that we pick and choose our battles wisely, man, when we make our talking points, because it is a media war going on. And just because the Zone is the big platform and everybody going there, man, we like, as far as everything surrounding it, as far as the media, like YouTube, the media, we got to do our parts, especially if you're a content creator, to be responsible. Pick and choose your battles wisely. Pick and choose the talking points that you really want to resonate home with, because you might find yourself being part of the agenda and you don't even know it. I just think it's odd that Max Kellerman did a whole segment, and his whole question, what he kept coming around to was, yeah, but can Abdullah Mason box? This is the same guy that'll sit down on a Zuffa card and be going toe-to-toe with Andre Ward on some boxing stuff, like literally going back and forth with Andre Ward on boxing stuff. Not boxing talk and boxing politics and, you know, the landscape. No, I'm talking about technical boxing, like what Andre Ward is saying, what the fighter's doing. He's going toe-to-toe with Andre Ward on some boxing stuff. Then you got Max Kellerman, to where they act like whatever he said the gospel. You got the hitman and Chris, big head, blue suit Mannix, with his salacious, what you call it, unofficial scorecards. And the reason why people don't want, the reason why people are like, some people are against open scoring is because the same thing that happens whenever I render my scorecard versus what they've been saying, it's going to hold them accountable. You got to think about it. If there's unofficial scoring and they got to call out those unofficial scorecards, those media people are not going to be able to play those games. They can, but then people are going to be protesting. Like, people are going to get real, like, because people are already getting antsy about, like, what are you talking about? What are you calling? Why do y'all conveniently talk about something else, some kind of crazy, stupid, asinine fun fact or something, right when, you know, the guy that y'all are actually shitting on is punching the dude in the face or in the stomach? You know, people are starting to notice, man. And if you didn't hear this in the beginning, but I've said this on several videos, this whole thing where everybody's coming to the zone, because they, you know, especially with the speculation that PBC might be coming over to the zone, they got to do something about these guys calling these fights. If it's cross promotion, that shit need to be like, the people that's calling the fight, they need to mix that up. It need to be like somebody that's from the top rank side, you know what I'm saying? Somebody from the Matchroom side, like the same way they do reps, where it's like you get one from your country, one from their country, and then one from a country outside, like outside of that, a neutral. It kind of got to be like that, because you can clearly see that because they rock with a certain faction and they get paid by the people that's paying the guys that are deemed as their guys, like Allah. And let's just say you go work for Zuffa, you getting a Zuffa check. Well, Turkey owned almost half of that shit, right? But he's cutting the check to Andre Ward. If you got the Ring magazine, they're cutting the check to Max Kellerman, Andre Ward, Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora. And all these guys are getting checked. So then when they choose fighters, like their fighters, like Asay Shakur, right? Or any one of these guys that's their guy, you know, the Matchroom guys. Let's just say Ben Whitaker, for illustration purposes. They have an agenda to promote and to push them. So if they don't have, let's just say they don't have a dog in the race, but it's an up-and-coming guy or another guy that might be a potential threat or an op, they shouldn't be allowed to just say whatever they want about them guys and just shit on those guys as they fight. Because we just experienced this with the, I just went through this with the Oshaki fight. When Oshaki and Ray Ford, I'm like, I don't know what fight are they watching? What are they talking about? My scorecard was right as rain. Same thing. My scorecard this time was right as rain. You wouldn't have known listening to them. But when it's cross promotional, they got to do something about that, man. I don't think Max Kellerman should really be qualified to be able to sit down and ask a question like, can Abdullah Mason box? That's just me. I don't know what, except for being a hired hitman, a paid writer. Like, who the fuck gives about, who cares what Mike Coppinger got to say about something? He's getting paid to say what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Now we know why Tim is doing what he do. He finally, you know what I'm saying, I guess he finally crossed over and got his little check. So we know why he get bipolar. One day he right his rain, next day he bipolar and saying some crazy shit. Why? Because it's catering to a narrative and an agenda. I'm just asking other content creators, man, pick and choose your battles and what you really want to drive home, man, because you might find yourself being a part of the agenda or being a hypocrite. Create narrative just like them. Like, you get online and you talk about all these other people talking about narratives and spewing this and that, and then you doing the same exact thing. Let's just keep it all the way a buck, man, and just talk about exactly what we see. No matter how ugly the truth is. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. But then again, I mean, you might be one of them people that like being lied to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I know Abdullah got a clutch gene. I know that there are people in the sport that are making moves. And just because you might be a fan of this particular fighter over there, don't be a part of the agenda to shit on the other guys who's doing what's right for the sport. Because you do know that you might find yourself in a situation like me where a lot of my guys have been inactive. Like my top guys, they've been inactive. It didn't stop the show. It didn't stop me from doing content, but they've been inactive. What did I have to do? Do what I always do, talk about them all, and really harp on the guys at the current time that's moving the way we need the sport to move. And just telling the truth. That's probably why I'm not going to get any interviews. Why? If I was getting interviews, right, and you sat down with me and we had a little whatever, and you go out there and you do something and we all see it, and it, you know what I'm saying, and it might not be the best, I might probably gonna get no more interviews. Why? Because I have to come out and be what the other guys are not and just tell the truth about what I saw. You might have got a gift. So maybe it is good I don't do interviews. I'm not sure. But that's not going to stop me from speaking the truth. Because silence is consent. You know, and we're not going to be like everybody else. The way these record execs, they come up in the music business. You know what I'm saying? People just grape them. Then they sign an artist. Then they grape them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where does it stop? So we complain about these guys in the media doing what they do, and then we have channels and then we do exactly what they do. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest, man, and say, hey, man, my guy, he moving funny right now. He gonna get his shit together. You know, we're gonna apply pressure, you know what I'm saying, to our guy. We're gonna get him moving right. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying, fix his wings so he can straighten up and fly right. And then we're gonna have another boxing conversation tomorrow. Hopefully with this topic today and some of the things that was said, you could put something in your rucksack and move on and take it to your next boxing conversation. We always say, hey, go where everybody know your name. They always glad you came, and they always sing your praise, and then come over here and hear what we got to say. You might learn something. You might have a different approach, a different mindset. You know, we do challenge your critical thinking skills. We don't microwave. We're not knee-jerk reactions. Sometimes we gotta let the beat build. We're quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that all day, every day. You know, salute to Abdullah Mason, his father, his family, the card, everybody that performed. Shushu successfully defended his title. Tiger, you know, he defended that secondary belt he got. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he got closer to a Devin Haney fight with that performance, but he did do his thing. And I'm not sure if I'm sold on the whole Bomac thing, him and Bomac. You know what I'm saying? That's just me, though. I liked him with Prentice Brewer. You know, especially the fight right after Prentice Brewer. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we can't really pull no strings and dictate. These guys got to do what's best for their career. You know, I think Scooter learned from that fight that he had. It was good to see Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? Good, solid fight. He had a guy that was using his head and leaning on him and all that. Ibrahim, he had a more crispier performance. You know what I'm saying? I think he had a different kind of opponent, but it was good to see the other Mason brothers getting, you know, some shine too. You know, and I want all the young brothers who get hit in the head for a living to go on and do bigger and better things. It's just some of them moving goofy, and we got to talk about it. Salute to the 300 and everybody who came through and showed some love and support to the channel, man. We'll be back in a day or two, you know what I'm saying, and have another boxing conversation. But salute to Abdullah Mason, and still, he retained his WBO. He showed that he got a clutch gene, and he's doing damn near everything right now. You know, I wish the man much success. And we got another star in the making. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.